Hello and welcome to a video about Grand Cathy's campaign. They've released this out today and I took a look at it, I read it over, and I want to talk about it a little bit more. So harmony. First big thing is harmony. Harmony is like the yin and yang that we talked about in the last video where units had yin and yang. We shown that apparently based on our building choices, Lord picks, and technology determines which of the balance we go to. Now, this could, if we go too hard to one side, say someone wants to do a lot of range or someone wants to do a lot of melee, if you do too much of the buildings will be less effective and you will lose control of your process, meaning you get public order penalties. So, and while maintaining a middle point is the biggest reward, giving significant wounds to all areas of your empire, unique army abilities to summon spirits of the ancestors, and so on. Now, should you drift to one side, it will become cheaper to push back to the center. There is one problem with this. The penalty, depending on how bad the penalties are, it could be you go one step out of the range and it's devastating. And you, at the higher difficulties, at the lower difficulties, maybe not so much. Maybe it's like a -4 penalty to public order. That's not a big deal at normal difficulty, but at very hard, very hard, and legendary, it is devastating. Now, I hope they've balanced this and realize that they shouldn't punish the players so hard as like the old dwarves, because the old dwarves were really, with the grudges, were really punishing. Now, and there was no benefits for keeping the grudges other than stabilizing your stuff. If I remember correctly, Empire was like that too, but the punishment, the way they've readjusted dwarves now is perfect. You get benefits, but you also are slightly punished for going that way, but not severely punished as it used to be, where you were severely punished for even going one step in the wrong direction. So we'll see how this comes out. I beg to see that they take what they've learned and how they adjusted dwarves, did do a little bit of imperial authority, and realize that there needs to be a balance. If you're going to implement a system, there should be significant bonuses. And if you go one step out of that way, it shouldn't be severe punishment. It should be severe punishment if you go all the way the wrong way. That's just my view, and them wording it right here. Maintain this for extended period of time can be challenging, but it's more than worth it even for just a couple of turns. That line worries me, that we might be flip-flopping, and if they don't do it correctly and they really punish people, then I don't see Cathy being a fun time. There's going to be people who like it, but Cathy is definitely going to be a hard time. Okay, Woozing Compass. Okay, here's the thing with Woozing Compass. We'll just pull up the image right here. So right at the top, you can read how Woozing Compass works. Basically, quote unquote, the first line is just all fluff. Harness the winds of magic, prosperity to Grand Cathy. This is the actual mechanics. Directing the compass fills the respective energy reserve. The greater the energy reserve, the larger the benefits are. However, the energy reserves of all directions decay over time. Everything they talk about here doesn't really tell us much, except for right here. However, if the compass is pointed elsewhere, the magic in the area begins to drop, depowering the passive. Meaning that if we point this to the Great Bastion, Dragon Empire's Wrath will probably lose its passive. but I think that might be more when it reaches 0. So, looking at the compass here, and looking at when it's in a direction, and you can only switch these every few turns, it's hands down Celestial Lake and Dragon's Emperor's Wrath. Hands down. There's no reason why you should do Great Bastion or Warpstone Desert. And here is why, or at least at the higher difficulties. Early game, you want Celestial Lake all the way, and maybe Dragon's Empire's Wrath to keep the control. And here's why. This passive will gain more strength as you fill this up. Meaning, we might have +3 growth in all Cathay factions in Cathay. But it might be +5 at here and 10 here. That's a lot of growth. That makes it so that you grow fast. I say that's worth. Also, if you have it in this direction, you gain 5% of income for all buildings in Cathay. Well, you're going to be stuck in Cathay at the beginning. You're not going to be off in Netherland or Elfland on the donut, so it doesn't make any sense. So this makes much more sense. This is worth early in the game. You want it in this direction. And also chance of increase in strength of Winds of Magic by 40% chance in Cathay. I say that's also worth. Now, we don't know the exact map of Cathay and how it looks like, but I can guarantee you, you're probably going to be spending a lot of your time here. Or for the campaign, you're going to be spending a lot of time here. So, Celestial Lake is hands down early to mid game what you want. Strength determined by energy reserve, always active. These all have it. They are passive. Reason why you do Dragon's Emperor's Wrath, maybe you're playing Legendary. You point in this direction, you get +1 to control in Cathay faction regions. That's really good. This could be 2. This could be 3. That almost offsets the difficulty penalty for being on Legendary. I say that's really, really, really good. Active in this direction, Dragon Emperor's Wrath, extreme attrition applied to armies beyond the Great Bastion, which probably means Chaos armies. So if you're getting a little overwhelmed with Chaos armies, as their mechanics are done, where I think it is here. No, it isn't in here. It's later on for the Great Bastions when we talk about the Great Bastions. But we will get a gauge telling us how severe the Chaos armies come into attack. This will make it so that instead of you getting a 20-man stack, you might be fighting a 10-man stack and they're all injured. Which means you're probably going to defend it with just the army inside the settlement, with how the sieges change. Okay, the Great Bastion. Having 500, I'm going to guess this is 1,000, and this is going to be probably 1,500. Defensive supplies, I don't know how many we start with off the bat, but I say this is useless. Casualty replenishment, could be good, but considering you can probably switch this for a short, like 1 intersection, which I think is going to be probably 5 turns before you can switch, because they say every few turns. Yeah, most choice as there is a time limit on changing the compass again. Meaning, you set that for a little bit, get that little +4%. Or whatever percent if you need it. I don't think you need it, but if it's active in that direction, you get Celestial Intervention. We have no idea what that is. No idea. Meaning it could be a damage spell. It could be a summon. If it's a summon of some units, how many times can you use it? That's it. And also you gain local recruitment +1. Not really necessary, considering we all get 4 local recruitment. I don't see it as a problem. So Great Bastion, I don't think is a big deal. Maybe a late game, or if you're having trouble with the sieges, I would just say go to Dragon's Emperor's Wrath rather than this, just because that attrition it will be much better to deal with stuff. Either it will cause chaos armies to move slower, so you can get your armies up there, or it will actually damage them, and by the time they get to you, you can easily just wipe them out. Warpstone Desert. This is the one that only if you're dealing with a lot of corruption, I would say take, because active interaction is set -2 corruption per region in Cathay. That means you only get -2. We got they made it super easy for corruption to be dealt with how population is. If a population of an area is fully untainted, or a city is untainted, it will count as 1 for that untainted, which means somebody's going to have 1 against yours to get it to even 50%. But if you have 2, then they will only get 30%. So on and so forth. You have to play with numbers. It's a division of points. And this is the thing I do not like. Chance of wins of magic decreasing in strength plus 100% in Cathay. Is that enemies? Is that also for us? If it's for us, I will say this is absolutely the one location you do not do, because this is garbage. But if it's just enemies, I will say that's probably useful. But if it's not, completely useless. Do never do Warpstone Desert. Do Celestial Lake, do Dragon's Empire, and maybe if you really are, if these are like max, and you don't need income, you don't need extra wins of magic, you don't need to do attrition, maybe do this, just for that ability. And for casualty replenishment to go up. That's my opinion. It's just how I play. It's like growing your, like, this is just Celestial Lake is just hands down almost the best. Control isn't really a big deal for most factions, and I'm feeling like these guys are probably going to want it though, due to harmony, but we'll see. Ivory Road. So Ivory Road is interesting. It's sort of a mix between the missions that you get as the Pirate Coast, Vampire Coast, where you go and dig for treasure and you get money and all that, and between what the orcs' old mechanics were, where they had an army that you summoned. Both beastmen and orcs had that, where you summon a war herd or whatever. This is a little bit the same, but it's slightly different. You can dispatch caravans whenever you like, sending it along one path of many roads of the Ivory. This will take you through various regions, some which may prove treacherous. At various points, you choose a direction that the caravan will next take. It will progress naturally across the map. And here it is. While you don't have direct control of it, it does have vision normal army would, giving you important scouting information. And around major rest stops, you will get various events and dilemmas, which you can get allies, ogre mercenaries, new routes, and many more surprises. So this sounds like basically this is your events, how your events happen. The problem is that this is, if you look here, if you're opposing them, you can find them and attack them, meaning these things are armies that can be attacked. I don't know how I feel about that. It seems, and doing so and winning will destroy the caravan, making a good way to starve them of resources. That scares me. If our economy is built on these caravans, and if once you complete a caravan, it will be, you can instantly send out another caravan. But my opinion is that this is a very dangerous thing, considering we also have harmony. And either this can make them like, it could be like, hey, go to the next settlement right next door. Okay. Is like the beginning ones, and then as you expand your empire, you go further and further out. Which isn't bad. I would say wouldn't be a bad thing. It's how they will handle it. And right now, I feel like Cathy's caravans are gonna be a detriment. They're free, but they're gonna be a detriment. And you're gonna, and if they are actually mean what they said, right here with doing so and winning will destroy the caravan, making a good way to starve them of resources, that is bad. That is very bad. If our economy is built on caravans working and defending from Tzeentch, as we will see in the Great Bastions, what we will get, Cathy's gonna have a rough time. This better be just for, hey, you want magical items, or you want like interesting allies, or ogre mercenaries, or items. Fine. Each caravan has its own leader, a new lord type with a unique blue skill tree, increasing boons of caravans, which is interesting, but I don't understand why, because you said we can't control them. So right now, Ivory Road is a big mystery, and it could be a very bad detriment, like Dwarves' Great Grudges before they changed them was, or it could be where it just punishes the player because they're like, hey, why are you doing this? Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing this? And it's like, basically, why you're punching yourself. And it's like, but you guys are the ones who implemented this. We'll see. This is all the speculation. We don't know, because this is very not telling us details. These pictures are telling us more details than they are, and that's why I'm focusing on the pictures. Now, here's the Great Bastions. The big thing, the big cheese that I want to talk about. Interesting thing, as Mao Ying, the female lord, you start in this area. You start with at least one of these, I guarantee you. Maybe all three, which, God, that is good. Makes her probably way better than Zhao Ming, because he's dealing with Rebel Lords and Retmen. And yes, you may be dealing with Tzeentch, but I will say, like, okay, so you're dealing with Tzeentch. Doesn't matter, because look at this tier 5. You get 4 slots, or 3 slots, I should say, because that's taken by a slot. And here's the tier 5 Bastion Fortress. You get compass cooldown by -1 turn, and there's 3 of these. I'm not sure if the other 3 will have the same bonuses, as they said somewhere in here that the bonuses are different for each one. I can't see it. Yep, share a unique building tree and commandments. Oh, they share it. So this is actually going to be the same one. So you can turn that down to -3 turns, meaning if it's a 5-turn countdown, you get to 2 turns, and then you can switch. You get income generated is 400. 3 fortresses, that is 1,200 gold. That's a lot of money. And diplomatic relations +2 with Cathay, that is +6 if you own all bastions and you have them at tier 5. Defense supplies, 2,500. Defensive supplies at the start of the battle. Bonus on top of whatever you get. Okay. Let's just go to the compass real quick. Why bother? Again, I say, why bother? If your defenses are going to be the Great Bastions, why bother? And you get +50 growth. So that seems pretty good. We don't know about the rest of these. These probably are going to be bonuses, and there's some basic military buildings that we can't see. But basically, we'll get access tier 1 to some peasants and peasant archers, so that makes most infantry buildings useless. And we get terracotta warriors, which makes probably a chain useless. I don't see them here. I see the special Imperial Guard place. I see this is the engineering bay, and we have these 4, which you might want to pick 3 because it'd be interesting. Also side note, ogres are confirmed right here. Ogres are confirmed. Anyways, also ogres are not gonna have walls. Interesting fact. I like how they changed this up a little bit. You can see more of the progress. You get to see control here. That is interesting how they have the bar there. I like it. I'm wondering actually what is this? Is this the yin and yang meter based on what you get? No. Here's the thing that's interesting. The Great Bastions is tracking through the top of the screen, which fills as chaos prepares an assault, and descends if they are defeated. Keeping the threat low and reaching 0 are looked favorably by the Celestial Dragon Emperor, who will reward those who do so. Allowing a breach will make his ire. So, this sounds like we get bonuses on beating Siege back, and we get invaded every once in a while. So, this with Ivory Road, Harmony, and slightly the Great Bastion mechanic sounds like a lot where you can easily get punished. Now that makes this Ivory Road even more crucial. That is a necessary thing. It better be almost unnecessary. It's a reward rather than it punishes you. And Harmony better be like -1 to actually probably 2 control, because 1 you get 1 for free. -2 control if you go one way or the other. I see a lot of benefits here, but we are not seeing any of the possible negatives, and they could be extreme, and that is what worries me. Is that how extreme are the penalties for doing so? All right, let's go to technology. Basically, oh, we can't see it. Let me just open up the engine. So basically, we have this is our tech tree. It looks like it's a elongated path, but as you can see, there's marks here for melee, yin and yang. And these seem like where the research will push you one way or the other. And while this, and these, the middle ones, do not do anything. Here is slightly the problem with this. They have range on one side and melee on the other, making it so, hey, I can just focus down range because I prefer to play range. Or if you prefer to play melee and you like the units in the melee tree and don't like the range early, you will have to go this way. The problem is you do that, you go one way or another, you get punished. But if you go both ways, you don't get punished. You will get benefits. And as here, okay, this is how it looks. We have 1 yang, meaning we need a yin to balance it. I wonder if it goes too far to the left, if we'll get the punishments rather than just right off the bat. I hope that's the way it works. But considering these are 4 turns each, all 3 of these, it makes it really hard to decide unless they have a lot of research reduction, because these are 4 turns. These are probably 6 turns. this stuff right here are probably 6 turns. Actually, these are probably 4 turns. This probably 6 to 5 turns. And these will be higher, and these will be higher, and these that's how most of the research is done. And I hope that all of this is 4 turns. If all of these are 4 turns, it makes it safe. I'll be fine with that. Maybe like cut off like rates here, like Inner Chai, Harmonic Mastery Yin, and Alchemic Mortar are all 6, and then it goes 6, 6, 6, and then it goes to 8. I'll be fine with that too. The problem is that these research, compared to other people's research, you are probably gonna have less time to grab everything because again, people are probably going to say like, oh, you're just being too hard. Maybe, but with you being attacked by chaos, you having to do the Ivory Road, you having to do Harmony, you gain barely a bonus from losing Compass. Like, there's no research. There's no research right here. There's no research right here. If there was research right in this, I'll be okay. Like Warpstone Desert, if there was research as the passive, I'll be probably fine. But there isn't. And again, we don't know how bad the detriments are. We are told straight up that there's a public order for Harmony. There's public order penalties. I can't. Oh, it's somewhere. Yeah, here. Control. Control of your promises will drop. Which on legendary difficulty, on the harder difficulties, is a problem. Or difficulties, this isn't a problem. And I understand that. But the thing is like, you need to. CA needs to slightly understand, like, there's people who play on the harder difficulties, and this might be a problem. Because we don't know how much the penalties are. So yeah, that's basically it. They say some legendary lords has a preference too. Some of their skills can push one way or another. I mean, honestly, this might be the reason why you pick the melee lords. Only hire them and then disband them instantly to get the balance. Do this balance here, and that's it. That's the only area I see it for, is to keep it the balance, as some people do range, or you hire the ranged lords just to throw them away so that you can make a melee army, melee base army. But I just see a problem. Like, I'm seeing a lot of problems here. I want to be optimistic because a lot of the stuff seems really strong. Like, this could be a really good race, a really strong race. Like, stronger than, I want to say stronger than Skaven, but pretty close. Because we actually haven't played with them. But they have the potential of being stronger than Skaven, because Ivory Road, if we don't get any penalties and we just get benefits, yeah. Ivory Road is really good to get magical items. The Compass, really good. Yin and Yang, if the bonuses we get from being balanced, could be really good. The Great Bastions alone seem really good. And technology, depending on what those are, could be really good. So, yep, that's me on this video. I have my doubts because we aren't shown a single penalty. We're not shown a single penalty. We don't know how much this decreases by. Does it decrease by a quarter of this bar, or does it decrease by half, or does it do just a little sliver? Like, we don't know. We don't know, and I would like to know. And the only way to know is by playing the game. And I don't know. CA has sort of a track record with Warhammer that it does things more so to punish players than it does to benefit players, except for Skaven. Skaven's fucking crazy. Like, Chaos has yet to be balanced. Norska has yet to be balanced. Norska is an even bigger problem, and it seems like they're doing the same thing as Ogre Mercenaries with them. And if we get Ogre Mercenaries and they're better than Norska, they're basically Norska but better, they need to change Norska. Or with Ogre Mercenaries, change Norska. That's just my thoughts. Anyways, thank you guys for watching this how look at Grand Cathy's campaign is going to go. And I will see you guys later. Bye-bye.